He will open the door for us then.
Certainly. I have no doubts.
All right,
Okay.
no doubts.
Good, that's the confirmation I needed personally to feel sure.
No, I'm not killing you. There's no version of that.
But what if I'm asking you nicely? I would already be dead anyways. We're going to be hightailing it over to Wolf's Lodge, and we can iron out the details on the way. It's about a 3-day journey. What's our getaway plan?
We use the papers
Huh?
we got in with
Right?
and then get out. Welcome back, Foundlings, to another episode of the Gate Chronicles. This is Chronicle 1, Chapter 88. My name is Emily, and I'm your game master and host for this series, session, episode, the writer, that person that does a lot of stuff in the background and in the foreground. And today, I'm joined by my 2 only players. Go ahead and say hello.
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 That was really musical. Okay.
Finavir is a bard.
Yeah, we're feeling the vibes today.
As opposed to every other day, because
Never feel the vibes.
it's never TGC day until it's Friday, and today is not Friday, so it's
Today's
actually...
not. So it's not TGC day, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
no.
right. It's Saturday.
Incorrect. Today is Sundune. No, it's going to get worse.
It's Sundune. Welcome to Sundune, everybody.
What dune is it? Anyway, go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys.
Hi, my name is Jaden, and I play Finavir. He's a lost merchant trying to find his family and find himself along the way.
And I'm Quentin, and I play the all too notorious
Charles Smoot, 57-year-old biology teacher born and raised in upstate New York. I don't have a shameless plug for what happened last time or what's happening this time.
Oh, no currently's or anything like that.
Do you want to currently?
No,
I
it's
know
fine.
Currently.
I mean, I also just thought about this. You have an opportunity, Jaden, as Finavir, to be like, and I am seeking the 3 Fs. Fame, fortune, and family. Just like we had the 3 Gs. That's how America was discovered. Maybe Finavir discovers a new continent.
Oh, that would be magical. Yeah.
Oh, no. It'd be like Finland. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
It's all coming together.
Finland. Okay.
Finland.
Wow. So let's get started. Every action has a consequence, where even the smallest ripple can surge into a tidal wave. And for Finavir, this meant that a seemingly innocuous conversation with Kristoph reshaped reality itself. Each passing day brought a shift, his bond with Kristoph unraveling in his memory. What once was is no longer. So, in a last-ditch effort to save the plan, Finavir attempted to intercept Kristoph to convince him of their bond. But not all went according to plan. And it seems that our party must now infiltrate the Temple of the Sacred Order and the Order Bishop's office without Kristoph's aid. But first, refreshments? So yes, you've all used your infiltrator's elixirs to disguise yourselves. You have made your way into the front entrance of the temple building, where you see there is a table that is lined up against the wall, and you see that there are several acolytes and a priest at different junctures of it, and they seem to be giving out food, offering refreshments and small snacks basically before the sermon begins, since it's early in the morning.
And do you know if it's tabooed or a fuse? I don't trust any magic spiked voodoo that they could feed us.
Why? It's just food. I help prepare this. Sometimes.
Didn't we also just eat the stuff they prepared the other day?
Finn will take some refreshments with a smile.
Sure.
Smoot will warily pass, unsure and not trusting of his current environment.
Kelsey takes a small beverage. It's like a little tiny cup with some red juice in it. He looks at you, Charles. I agree. I'm not going to drink anything here. Something seems off. It's too welcoming.
I don't trust it.
All right. I guess we go take the seats and gonna put in that wax.
So we would more than likely probably be sitting in one of the back rows so as to be discreet and unmemorable.
Oh, it's much more comfortable in the back row. Finn wouldn't think that it would matter. Just that it's more convenient for all the other purposes.
Certainly true.
So you go in and you attempt to insert this wax into your ears, sort of in the midst of this crowd who are all starting to funnel in. And it doesn't take long for the sanctuary to get full.
I bet. Free drugs every week in the form of magic riz. I don't know. I don't have a better word for whatever this is going on.
Magic riz.
That magic riz, for real, for real.
No cap. Why don't you all make a perception check?
Oh, we take 21s. Oh my goodness.
That's a way to start off the day.
Yeah, that's a great way to start off the day.
First roll of the day, nat 20 for Charles Smith's perception check. Total 34.
All right. So
It's too suspicious. He's taking it all in.
he's taking it all in. You and Valen are both taking it all in. Meanwhile, Finavir and Kelsey are both enjoying their refreshments.
The story writes itself.
This is really good. It's like grape juice. Magic grape juice. While this room is very long, you probably have about like 120 feet in length between where you are and the front of the room at the pulpit. And you see Finavir enter into the room, making his way to sit in the pulpit. Finavir, I need you to roll a will save.
Yeah. 30.
Good, we need that right now.
Yeah.
I really don't need you doubling over in pain and anxiety at this time.
Yeah, it was pretty rough last time.
Finavir, you get this tingling sensation in the back of your neck. You feel a slight twinge of pain in your head, but you turn in the direction of where Origin Finavir walks in. You do this instinctively, and this is the most clarity you've had in a while whenever something weird has happened like this. So you get this really strange sensation of a desire to draw nearer to yourself, but also the fear to stay away.
Not trusting his own senses, he doubles down and he just kind of turns his head forward, bends his head down a bit, and closes his eyes to try to remove himself from extrasensory input.
Okay. Charles, you feel as you get nudged a little bit by Valen. Charles, what's that?
It's complicated. I will explain it later.
Is it one of his spells again?
It's a spell. We don't need to worry about it right now.
As you say that, you see as this figure starts walking in from the side door, a large door just opens up and you see this royally garbed individual in the black and red outfit wearing a mask as he begins to walk up the stage. And you see as a group of very similarly dressed but far less grandiose in their appearance, he is accompanied by these individuals who sort of line up on the outside. There's about 5 of them there. And you lay eyes for the first time on the bishop. And as he gets up upon the pulpit, you see that he raises his arms. He says,
Welcome, welcome, my children. We are gathered here today.
you guys need to roll a will save. He begins radiating.
He radiates uncontrollable rays.
And Jaden,
Yes.
you will be at a -2 for the save.
But we get a +2 from the earwax, so his cancels out.
That is a 26.
Got a 31 for Charles Smooth.
Finavir, you feel that as you are sitting here listening to this sermon once again, your mind begins to become clouded. And you are now fascinated by the bishop's speech.
Oh no, he's too eminently magnanimous.
Kind of true.
I wish I had a mask like that. I had one and gave it to Cece in the beginning of season 1, and she gifted it to someone else.
Maybe it was the bishop. Maybe it was a magic mask. No one will know.
Was the bishop. Scandalous.
But Charles, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Again.
32 for Charles Smoot.
You are looking around the room again. You've been wary this whole time. You are unaffected by the bishop's words. You actually are having a hard time hearing anything anyway because it's your old age and your hearing's already gone.
Yeah, sure. Just throw the old dog under the bus. That's fine.
I'm sorry. It lends itself. But as you're looking around, you notice as Valen and Finavir seem to be leaning in as if they are enthralled by the bishop's words.
No. We're not doing that.
Charles Smoot would attempt to discreetly kind of like put his arm around Valen and then just like jostle him by the shoulders.
Snap out of it, man.
All right. So you want to do this in a discreet manner.
Correct.
So
Stealth check.
I would say you would need to roll stealth.
Ooh, I can do that, I think.
Or deception if you don't want it to look gay. I don't know how to
You're
help
right.
you.
I'm more worried about the homosexual implications here.
From all the
28 on Charles Smoot's deception check to appear not gay.
You actually are rolling deception.
You gave me the option.
To appear not gay. All right. To the 28.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty heterosexual if I've ever seen it.
You give him a slap on the back.
I guess you're right. I did go for the not gay approach and not the discreet approach.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're trying to reach around his back and like draw him closer.
That's true. That's true. Lovingly embrace him. That's not what we're going for here.
You jostle Valen in such a way that Valen shakes his head. He seems to come out of this fascination.
Oh, what? Oh my. That's strong.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
You both notice that it's not just your friends who've been affected by this in some way. Almost the entire congregation in this place seem to have been affected. Valen reaches over and he's going to try and jostle Finavir. Finavir, roll a new will save.
Oh my goodness. 31.
That's much better.
Apparently you and Valen are on the same wavelength.
We have always seemed to have vibed together.
Is it because you're related?
Maybe.
But he jostles you and you seem to come back to your senses. You guys were probably you probably didn't notice them becoming enthralled right away. We'll say that it took about 10-ish minutes since you were getting a lay of the land. So you guys were under this enthrallment for a good while. And he's still going. He's still radiating
That's
up on
fine.
the stage.
He's barely on like the classic opening prayer.
He can radiate as long as he wants to.
But you see that many members of the crowd seem to be completely enthralled by his speaking.
Charles Smoot just like starts nudging people and nodding in the direction of.
Then we'll try to get ahead of Valen to get a word into Smoot because he can't do what he needs to ask him. Smoot, I need you to look around the room for Kristoph. Just a yay or nay if you see him. I can't do this.
I don't know. There's a lot of people, and I don't know if you know. I've never met Kristoph.
Just like you saw him at the soup place.
Valen went with you to that.
Yeah, you brushed past Valen so you could walk with Charles, and Valen's just like with Kelsey, kind of like slowly maneuvering their way
Well,
through the
shoot.
seats.
He'll turn backwards towards Valen. Valen, I can't be the one to do this. I need you to look around the room to see if you see Kristoph. If you don't, that's probably a good sign, but I need you to see if you see him.
All right. Fine.
He looks around seemingly to try and find Kristoph, but he looks back at you, shrugs.
Let's keep going.
Why don't you roll a perception check, both of you?
21 for Finn.
And a 24 for Charles Smoot.
As you are starting to maneuver through the pews, you see at the front, though, the individuals that accompanied the bishop coming in don't seem to be under this enthrallment. In fact, they kind of seem to be scanning over the crowd.
We should probably sneak our way out.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
For your stealth.
24 for Charles Smoot. You move 5 more points in stealth than me. Oh, you rolled a 4. This isn't great.
What's wrong?
Nothing could possibly go wrong. I have absolutely no bad feelings or reservations about what could occur.
It's okay. Valen rolled worse than you.
That's not okay.
The man who suggested sneaking does not have a sneaky bone in his body.
That is because we are on the same wavelength.
You both are so honest as individuals. So, Valen seems to stumble over one of the members of the congregation a little bit and kind of breaks this person out of their enthrallment.
Yeah, this is already going well.
And this seems to draw attention of one of the priest ascendants at the front, who just kind of looks over that direction and shakes his head and kind of signals for them to just sit down, take a moment and relax. But Finavir, you see as another one of the priest ascendants just kind of turns and looks at you for a minute and also kind of signals for you to sit down. But it seems that Charles Smoot goes unnoticed at this time.
One of us getting out.
And Kelsey's right behind you, just like hands against your back.
Just keep moving slowly.
Can I try to give him an understanding nod, like I'm definitely going to do that? And
All right, so you would like then to roll your deception.
okay, here we go. Once more with feeling. 26.
He nods back at you as you begin to motion that you're sitting down and seems to look away.
I would like to continue to sneak and leave.
All right, roll your new stealth.
21.
Finavir, you begin slowly maneuvering your way again through the crowd. Valen has had to sit down for a little bit until the one that noticed him also looks away, and he is going to attempt also to follow after you, but at a slight more distance. You're able to rejoin with Charles Smoot and Kelsey as they are off to a side exit in the building, seeming to have avoided notice at this time. Valen trailing behind as he has to stop often.
Okay, now what?
I know the way. Follow me. And Finn will go down the hallways where he was led before.
So what you're telling me is Finavir is in front.
Yes, Finavir is most definitely in front.
At this point, I need you to roll a will save.
That is, quite frankly, an abysmal 16.
Finavir, you fall down to the ground. That is a critical failure on that will save.
Not a great place to be.
Oh no, that's bad for like 3 different reasons. Oh.
That is...
If it could have been one different reason, I think we'd be fine.
Yeah, no.
Finavir, as you have left the sanctuary and are walking the hallway, you suddenly get this sharp pain in your head and you collapse to the ground. You see your vision. You're almost back in your origin self, and you see as you are focused on the bishop, and your vision there gets blurry and just focuses directly on him, looking nowhere else. And it takes a little while for you to regain yourself, and you get back up, and you feel as the memory of the room and everything inside of it disappears.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Only good things can happen from here on out. We need good news right now, Finavir. You do have good news for us, Finavir.
I'm feeling much better.
That's good. We need you cognizant. This is a good thing.
Do you happen to remember why we're here?
What does that mean?
We're here to get into the bishop's office.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be taking us there.
Anything related to that room is gone. Anything that happened after that room is gone. The only thing that you remember is suddenly standing in the Colosseum next to Charles Smoot again. But certain conversations, when you try to think back to them, it's almost like static.
The office is this way.
Okay, that's good. Or that is at least.
Sweet. It's a door. How
I
are we getting
love
in?
doors.
How are we getting in?
Ben just goes to try the handle, absentmindedly.
You go up to the handle. You try to open it. You do remember that you put your hand on the handle the previous day, and you were intercepted by Ariana at that moment. But you remember that it was locked, so you kind of fidget with it, just hoping.
Yeah.
It's locked.
Right. Just making sure. And he'll take out the new set of thieves' tools and try to finesse his way inside.
Okay, go ahead. Please roll your thievery. You may now attempt to use the pick lock action.
Okay, that is a 24.
You expertly insert these thieves' tools. It is so much different than trying to pick a lock with nails. They slide right in, and you feel as the first pin unlatches. Go ahead and make your next check.
That is an 18.
You're fidgeting with the lock for a little bit. You have made no more progress so far.
Making progress. It's very nice lock.
Less talking, more picking. Come on.
All right. 31.
You feel as another pin comes undone. You feel that if you get one more, this door will open easily.
Oh, and that is a solid 29.
The last pin unlatches. You hear as there's this very satisfying click. Everyone hears it, actually.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Finn will open the door and kind of gesture for everyone to enter. Ladies first.
Wait, what if there's a trap in there?
Fin.exe has stopped working.
As the door opens up, you all bear witness to an absolutely massive portrait right in the front entrance of this hallway, which branches off to the left and to the right. This portrait seems to depict a man with very striking features, blonde hair. And Kelsey just turns to you.
That's the bishop.
He is very obviously handsome, and he is depicted to have this shoulder-length, strawberry blonde hair and green eyes. Why don't you make a perception check, both of you?
25 perception check for Finn.
Total 20 for Charles Smith.
Both of you seem to be heading down the leftmost side of the hall, and you can see where you're standing. There seems to be a bit of a balcony further into the room. And actually, as you're stepping around the corner, you can see that there seems to be a raised area just off to the left, and there seems to be a large section of bookshelves over there, as well as a few other things, like this strange-looking machine, which looks like a coffee machine to you, Charles, but old-fashioned, with hand grinding for the beans. Only beans.
Love in every bean.
Love in every single bean. And additionally, you see that there seems to be up on this balcony area, there is a table that has a chessboard, and there's additionally a longer table further north in the room on this platform, which seems to have a bunch of papers spread out across it, as well as bottles of some kind. There does seem to be several dozen bottles of some sort, some on the shelves up top and some that are off to the side, a set of stairs. And you can hear that there's a crackling fireplace further within the room.
All right, let's proceed ahead.
Well, Smoot will walk around the corner and take in majesty of a more complete picture of the office as he's walking around the central column piece.
Walking into the more central area of the room, you see that this place seems to be almost like this opulent chamber, and that there are several pillars which seem to be potentially decorative or potentially structural. You're not 100% on that. But you do see that there is a chandelier hanging in the center part of the room, and to your right you hear the sound of a fireplace coming from beyond a small enclave that you can't quite see into. But all the way at the back of the room, there seems to be a desk, and somewhat below the platform, but off to the right of it just a little, some sort of figure holding a book in one hand and a pair of scales in another. And there's several other areas of seating here too.
Wow, you think he's overcompensating for something?
Even grandfather didn't have this lavish of environment. He had some modicum of self-control.
Where'd you find the ledger last time?
Smooth, I don't know how to tell you this. Either I'm experiencing some acute amnesia, or I don't know what ledger you're talking about. I don't think I was here before. I remember getting to the door, and it's real fuzzy after that.
That's great. Okay, Scooby Gang, split up for clues. There's the upper level, and then there's the desk. It looks like there's a lot of books on those shelves. Probably focused majority of us up there.
All right.
So Charles will begin making his way upstairs.
Sure. Charles, you begin making your way upstairs and looking over in that region.
If we're picking areas, and Smoot said that we're here for some ledger for some reason.
For the words I said, yeah.
Oh, then Finn will make his way and just search the desk area because important books are on desks.
It's true.
So you go over to the desk, Finavir. Kelsey joins you, Charles, up on the balcony, and Valen goes to check out the room to the right side.
Good for you, Valen. You didn't go straight to the booze.
He's not that bad, guys. He's
Anymore.
gotten better.
He's made progress. That's why I get to be proud of him.
So, you may all roll your perception checks.
I see. And by I see, I mean I don't see. Because it's a 16 for Charles Smith.
Hey, that's numbers. We like numbers like 30. 30 is a great number.
Charles, you are drawn to this table over to the right.
Yeah, bottles and potions, man.
Okay. Kelsey makes her way over to the bookshelf as you've been distracted. Thoroughly distracted. Charles, when you go up to this desk, you see that there are a myriad of papers up here. You briefly scan over them. They seem completely useless. It's just mostly... One of them seems to be a smut book, from all you can tell.
Very useful, but not given our current circumstances.
What you see on the table is some of the following. You see there is a potion with a green liquid inside, one that has a light blue liquid, and one that has a glass bottle with a dark red liquid. And you recognize this because you remember Finavir pulling something out like that a previous day.
Well, I guess this is gonna be with us now.
So Smoot will just kind of like open his bag and start pocketing the potion.
And then you see that there is a bottle of fine wine in this area. And as you pull it out, you see that it says Juneberry Chardonnay, Asher Wineries.
Probably too fancy for my taste.
You pick up a ration potion, a sure step potion, wine of the blood, eidetic potion, and a truth potion.
And because he would be that guy, Charles Smoot, absolutely. You said there's a robe?
You see there's a wardrobe.
Oh, a wardrobe.
There's a wardrobe, but you could go over to it.
I thought it was like a red fuzzy robe. I kind of wanted Charles Smoot to be walking around in the robe and then drinking wine straight out of the bottle.
Yeah, that robes typically exist in wardrobes. It has the name war and robe in it. You like both of those things.
I do like both of those things.
Your
They're
roll
very
was low
cozy.
enough. You're so distracted. You're like, wait a second. I can loot this place.
So yeah, Charles Smoot goes over to the wardrobe, opens it up, see if he wants something cozy.
That's so Smoot.
You see, as you open this wardrobe, there is a stylish silk robe with lots of small reflective mirrors stitched on it.
Yeah. Charles Smoot just puts the silk robe over top of whatever he's wearing, and then he pops the cork on that Juneberry Chardonnay, and he's just drinking it while wearing the robe in the bishop's office, enjoying the finer things of someone else's life.
You pick up the mirror robe.
I'm assuming this is all Charles is good at. Yeah, Charles came in here thinking, we're here for a purpose, everybody. And then immediately just starts looting the place.
I mean, yeah, with that roll, that's you went for the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Finavir, walking over to this table, you go over to this open book. And as you get closer to it, you feel as though something on your person starts to kind of like get warm. And you feel this thing, wherever it is stored on you, you feel as it seems to tug a little bit and jostle inside your clothes.
Gonna be like, oh, what the heck? And he goes and grabs at it.
You grab out a book. It looks very similar to the one on the table.
What the? Yeah, so Finn, not nearly as concerned as he otherwise would be. Like, this is weird. He goes to put this book next to the other one on the table. He moves the cup to the side and tries to open it out to see if they, look like they contain similar contents.
Okay, you do this.
And you create a rift in the space-time continuum.
Yeah, we're going to the Astral Sea, man. I'm feeling like 2% like that time he was mind controlled.
As you take this book and you put it down on top, like right next to the other, you feel suddenly as the book that you're holding drawn to the other book on the table, at the same time repulsed. You put it down, and as you do, an explosion happens. You are knocked back 10 feet, and you take 40 damage. 40 force damage, to be specific.
Jesus. Well, that's why I don't miss the space-time continuum, I guess.
You've created a paradox, and both items, because they are books, are destroyed.
He loses his entire ledger. And any trace of that it could be existing.
You see that the desk has also taken significant damage, but it is mahogany, so it has a nice hardness.
Is there like an audible cue? Do we hear like a bang? Or is
Yes.
there like, okay.
There is a sonic level explosion.
Finn, what did you do?
That ledger was booby-trapped, so I hope it's not that one that we need.
So you say.
And he looks, I still have my hands, despite how they feel.
Valen runs out from the room he was in. What was that?
Shh, don't want to draw any more attention to ourselves.
Oh my god!
Kelsey, I just said we do not want to draw more attention to ourselves.
What?
Finn, what happened?
He said it was booby-trapped. Boobies are a trap.
We know this already, Kelsey. Finn, more information.
Okay, we still are on a crunch time, so there was a book on the table. I felt something odd in my pocket. It was a book. I put it on the table to compare notes, and then they hit each other like magnets and then exploded.
Okay, Finn, did it ever alarm you that the book in your pocket was tingling?
Yeah, well, it's weird, but what does that mean?
Okay, how about this? If we feel tingling things moving forward, we don't grab them. They could apparently explode.
Okay, so if you have a jingling or tingling in your back pocket, you just leave it there? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Given the current circumstances, maybe it's a good idea.
It does not seem that this explosion goes unnoticed.
Finn tried to unbreak his hands while he's talking.
Unbreak his hands. I suppose he could.
Let's try to soothe and see how soothing that feels. 25.
Finn, I can try and heal you.
That would be great.
She'll bolster you the rest of the way. How about that?
Much appreciated.
You're fully healed.
Fantastic. Maybe we should lock that door.
We don't know how long we're going to have.
Felsmoot makes his way over to the lined wall of bookshelves and is going to attempt to find a similar looking ledger, but with the appropriate date range that they are looking for.
Yeah, Finn's otherwise distracted, but if we were smart, we would have locked that door on the way in.
With a perception check of 31.
You begin scanning the shelves as quickly as you can. Your Arthdal reading has improved significantly since you first came to this place. You do not see any sort of ledgers stored on these shelves. Not the type that you're looking for, at least. Most of these seem to be historical entries or even poetry and fiction. There is one section that seems to have documents of some sort, but it does not seem that a document as important as this is being stored on the shelves in the open.
Finn, we've got nothing over here. Are there any drawers on the desk?
Okay. He'll look through the desk.
Balin, what about you? What's that side room?
Oh, what do they call this? A kink dungeon.
Maybe he got a book reading kink.
I'm
Did you
kidding.
find anything?
There was a dagger and there's blood in the room.
That sounds like not our problem. If it's not a book, don't worry about it.
All right.
Not bad. 26. Perception.
You begin pulling out the drawers on this thing, searching desperately for a ledger. You do not find anything of significance in these drawers at this point, and you can tell that the explosion seemed to damage this desk decently, but there is nothing in the drawers. However, you hear something kind of move in a weird way as you open one of these drawers, but you don't see anything in it.
Finn could suspect that this unknown feeling may equate to, I bet there's some kind of hidden drawer. So he's interested to continue looking for a false drawer.
Okay, that's your turn. Now back over to Charles Smoot. Yeah, we could say that was 3 actions to thoroughly search that area. You have another round of action.
Charles Smoot, sensing that there is nothing left up here that is beneficial, will, I guess, make his way over to the alcove see if there's anything hidden over there. He can make it over to that alcove in 2 movement actions and use one of his last actions to seek. 26 for Charles Smoot.
This U-shaped area seems to do a decent job of blocking off vision of the area of the hallway. And you did realize that when you came in, you couldn't see really anything in this alcove initially. Obviously, moving further into the room made it much easier. However, now you see that there is the fireplace with the wolf pelt. And as you are taking a closer look, you can see that, strangely, when you're taking a closer look towards this fireplace area, you see what looks like to be scraps of cloth in like a back corner of the fireplace, kind of amongst some of the ashes, as well as what looks like a charred piece of a jewel kind of sticking out.
Well, the fireplace is still going, so I'm not burning my hand for that.
Certainly. There is a poker, but...
Well, I'm also all out of action.
I know. But if you were interested, maybe. We'll see what happens. He's going to go over to the door. And after a moment, you guys hear from Valen. Right, so the door can only be locked with a key.
Unfortunate.
And don't worry about it.
He closes the door, which was left open when you guys walked away from it. And he makes his way back as far as he can. And that is all of his actions. Oh, roll a perception check, because you guys are really far in the room.
Natural 20 for a total of 32 for Charles Smoot.
And a 21 for Finavir.
I feel like for Finavir, this is kind of, your ears are still ringing a little bit. But Charles, you are actually closer to the entrance, similar to Valen. You both look at each other as you hear the sound of footsteps approaching closer. And you hear as the door opens.
What was that? Go and check.
Several priest descendants funnel into the room, spotting Valen. And I'm going to need everyone to now roll their initiative.
Even better. A 30.
And 31 for Charles Smoot.
Oh, even better than Finn.
We need it, because we got some slackers on the rest of our team.
Charles Smoot, top of the round, goes to you.
Cool. Charles Smoot is going to continue to stealth here, and he's going to ready an action so that whenever anyone pops out from on the other side of this wall, he is going to attack them immediately.
So you're ready in action. Finavir, your turn.
All right. Finn will immediately start to take the role of the spotlight. So he's going to cast Mirror Image.
Okay, you do so. That's 2 actions. You have 1 more action.
And then he's going to move 30 feet towards the aggressors.
It doesn't take long for you to see as a bunch of individuals come running into the room. It appears that there are 4 priest ascendants. They are dressed similar to the bishop. You see that they seem to be wielding whips of some sort with electric energy pulsing through it. And followed by this group appears the bishop, who begins making his way into the room.
And what little insects have I caught in my web today?
One of these individuals, one of the priest descendants, charges in with his whip drawn and lashes at Valen. And it seems to stun Valen slightly as he takes a bit of damage. All of these priest descendants begin funneling their way into the room, drawing closer to you. And Charles, one of them, passes right by you, triggering your reaction.
Charles Smoot will fly into a barbarian rage, take a step forward, and make a melee attack against this individual. So 24 to hit for Charles Smoot, 38 damage, and 1d6 persistent bleed damage.
You hack into this person, this priest ascendant, cleaving through their body. They're still standing, but you can see as one of their arms kind of hangs down to the side a little bit, slightly detached.
Our arm's supposed to be.
No, it's not. Kelsey jumps over the ledge of the platform landing. She proceeds to run forward up towards Valen and Finavir, and she seems to reach out her hand, and you see as Valen seems to be imbued with some sort of energy. And that's Kelsey's turn. Top of the round. Now, Finavir, you are at the top of the round. Charles has moved his turn.
All right, Valen, we're counting on you.
Why me?
Because I'm putting my faith in you. And this spell. Let's hope this works. Finavir is going to cast Haste on Valen, and he's going to follow that up with a Courageous Anthem. We haven't come this far just to fail. Steel yourselves. And that's a 60-foot emanation. And he will add a flourish to this with lingering composition as a free action, but that will take one of his focus points.
Some of the priest descendants begin advancing on your party. Finavir, the one that was closest to you already, he walks towards you and he lashes out his whip at you, striking one of your mirror images, but also hitting you when he brings the whip back up. You take 8 electric damage. And what was your fortitude save?
14.
Okay.
Oh, no.
You become stunned for 2 rounds. Stunned 1. Another priest descendant proceeds forward and starts to lash out with his whip at Valen, and he does seem to strike him a few times, but Valen seems to resist being stunned again. And Charles Smoot, you see as the Order Bishop kind of like looks in your direction, waving out his hand, you feel as he speaks.
You ate me.
As he speaks, his words seem to wash over you. What is your fortitude save?
So you want my will first, right?
Yes. Sorry.
28 on Charles Smith's will save.
You, with your aged hearing.
I also have the earplugs in. So if this is an auditory effect, I actually get a +2 bonus, so it would be a total of 30.
It seems as if you overcome this command that he seems to issue out. You're too hard-headed to listen to that. You see as the Order Bishop kind of grunts, frustrated, and he begins to run in Kelsey's direction. Meanwhile, the priest descendant that you nearly cleaved in half, he strikes you with the back of his gauntlet as he wails at you, but it seems like the rest of his attacks are getting weaker as more of his blood drips out, and he takes some bleed damage. Meanwhile, another one of these priest descendants, seeing that his companion is in trouble, runs back in your direction, standing about 10 feet away. He begins to whip at you with this electric wire, essentially. It seems that you are struck twice by this. I need you to roll 2 fortitude saves.
One is a 19 and the other is a 33.
Being the beast of a man that you are, enraged, you shrug this off. It's like getting shot by police with a taser gun, but you're like high on drugs.
Charles Smoot is actively intaking PCP.
Yeah, he's actively. But now, it is your turn.
Charles Smoot is going to take a strike at the individual directly in front of him. For a total of 59 damage plus 2d6 bleed.
For the order.
He dies.
I imagine that's what the top half of his bisected body says before he hits the ground. There's even a blood splatter where he used to be.
He dies, falling to the ground in pieces. His top half of his torso splats on the ground. Meanwhile, the legs stand there briefly before they slowly fall and slump to the side.
Out of my way and get away from my Kelsey!
And then he is going to make a charge attack. So a total 32 to hit.
Please roll damage.
29 damage plus 1d6 bleed.
You strike into the bishop with your greatsword, slashing into him. You kind of hear inside your mind as Selrak chuckles a little bit. But you do seem to nick. His clothing, being relatively thick, strangely seems to protect him a little bit, but he does take damage. It is Valen's turn.
Oh no. I just hit him for 24 plus bleed and it says barely hurt. Barely an inconvenience.
That's his turn. Valen makes a quick strike against the priest descendant in front of him. Taking a step forward, he stabs at him, and in doing so, you see as his sword is imbued with a bit of ice magic, which seems to spray out and actually coats the ground around the priest descendant briefly. And you see as he stands, though, resolute, even though he is struck by Valen's blade. It is now Kelsey's turn. Kelsey, seeing that the Order Bishop seems to be coming at her, there seems to be this flash of panic in her eyes, but all of a sudden, why don't you guys roll a perception check?
22 for Charles Smoot.
And a 25 for Finn.
The only thing that you got from that is you heard Kelsey kind of eek, and you saw as then she seemed to focus and kind of grip at a necklace she's wearing, and you see as a translucent-looking shield forms around her. Finavir, it is your turn.
So for my 2 actions, Smoot's seen better days, but he'll see days next round. So he'll cast Haste on Smoot, and I'll probably... you got this, Smoot!
It'll be my pleasure.
That's the end of his turn.
He was very stunned to watch.
Finavir, The onslaught against you continues. However, which you remains to be debated, because this priest descendant continues to whip at you, very confused by these mirror images, and you see as he breaks the remaining two, tries to hit at you, looking very frustrated though the entire time, but he does not strike you once this time. The priest descendant was right by Valen, disengages, moving towards Kelsey as he sees that may be the target of the bishop at least. Moving up to where Kelsey is, he attempts to strike at her. Kelsey seems to be affected by the electricity of this whip, and she becomes stunned for one round. Meanwhile, the Order Bishop appears frustrated that you have slashed his finely spun garb. He pulls out this silver dagger and stabs at you, digging it deep right into the crook of your left arm. You take 31 damage, and you can see that you're now bleeding.
You come into my home, attack my people. You will pay dearly for this.
And finally, the last priest descendant comes rushing in, attempting to whip at you to get you away from his bishop. He misses. He has no skill with his whip. Now, Charles Smoot, it is your turn.
Good. Nice and close. Right where I wanted you.
Oh, okay. I see what's happening here.
Charles Smoot, enraged, will invoke none other than Selrak. Growing in size to become a large creature, now towering over the pitiful bishop that stabbed him previously. And I think we're just going to hit it till it dies.
Miss.
All right, well, if first you don't succeed, try again.
Selrak lashes out with this giant bastard sword, it crashing into the ground, missing the bishop, but then he comes with a backswing and nicks the front of his chest, dealing 16 slashing damage, applying another d6 of bleed. But that is his turn.
Charles Smoot, what was your recovery check, please?
16 for Charles Smoot's recovery check. It says it was a success.
It does appear to be successful. You are no longer under that 2d6 of persistent bleed.
Oh, thank goodness.
So then it is Valen's turn. You see, as Valen, after hearing Kelsey kind of eek, he charges over to the priest descendant standing in front of her, and as he does so, you see as he summons up his Athame, the frost dagger, which whips around as he makes several piercing attacks at this priest descendant, who seems very injured by this. It is now Kelsey's turn.
Thanks, Valen. I owe you one. How about now?
Kelsey then looks to the enemy in front of her. She slaps this person, and you see that this dark gray ice kind of like singes his skin a little. Finavir.
All right, we need you nice and healthy, big guy. And he'll cast max level Soothe, 4th rank.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
41 healing.
Invigorating.
So we're going to follow this up by doing it properly this time. Courageous Anthem. And we're going to properly Lingering Composition.
Oh, hey!
And remember to make the appropriate perform check.
Finavir, the priest descendant that you have been tangoing with continues to whip at you, trying to take you down as he sees you are now healing your allies. And he does manage to strike you once, and you take 9 damage. What was your fortitude save?
That is a fortitude of 21.
Okay. And it seems that you resist this electrical current that seems to, instead of hitting you directly, hits against your clothing instead. Meanwhile, the priest descendant that is standing in front of Kelsey and Valen, he actually strikes at Kelsey. At this point, he feels he needs to take out at least the weaker of the group, and he does manage to hit her twice with his spiked gauntlet. And you see as Kelsey takes a decent amount of damage, enraging Valen. Meanwhile, the Order Bishop attempts to strike you, Charles and Selrak, and the first dagger misses as Selrak is sort of turning and moving to the side of it, but the second strike does hit, and you take 17 damage. with 1d6 of bleed. And finally, you are continuing to be assailed by the priest descendant that is next to you, and he does manage to hit you once. And it does seem that this last strike is pretty significant. You take 19 damage from it, and I'm going to need you to roll a fortitude save.
I like those. And they like me. 33, and if I ever get a success, I get a critical success instead.
You are unaffected by the stun. And instead, it seems like Selrak just turns and smiles wickedly at this priest descendant who shudders.
Pathetic.
Charles Smoot, it is your turn.
Charles Smoot is going to attack first, and then I will roll to trip as a secondary thing. 36 to hit the bishop, for a juicy 27 damage plus d6 bleed, and a 26 to hit the priest descendant, for a sizable 17 damage plus a d6 bleed, and then I will roll to trip.
Who are you attempting to trip? Let's clarify that
first. I'm going to do the bishop, and then second, I will do the priest descendant. I can make 4 actions because I'm hasty, as long as they are attack actions, which they are, which is why I'm doing 25 to trip the bishop and 23 to trip the priest descendant.
Your attacks strike true as you take your bladed arm and you swing wide. You slash into the bishop and into his priest descendant. Both take damage, but as you go low to swipe under their legs, they are not knocked prone as they manage to overcome your trip attack. It is now Valen's turn. Valen, enraged that this priest descendant would even dare attack Kelsey while he was there to face him, lashes out at this priest descendant. With 3 quick slashes, he fells the enemy. It is Kelsey's turn. And you see as Kelsey heals herself and then seems to cast a defensive shield. Roll a perception check, both of you.
Sure. Finavir got a 28 on his perception.
33 for Charles Smoot.
You both can kind of see that Kelsey seems like she is a little unsteady all of a sudden.
Casting all these spells, man, it takes a toll on you.
Next up, Finavir. It is your turn.
Once again, with feeling.
With feeling. A courageous anthem.
Oh my gosh.
I think you
30.
do.
That is definitely not a critical success. So I had to beat a 26.
But a regular success still means that the composition lasts for 3 rounds now.
Okay. Anything else on your turn?
I want to cast telekinetic projectile, but I want to make sure the flavor text makes sense.
I was saying like a pen or a coin off the desk.
Or like some smashed bits of tile. We'll target that one and cast telekinetic projectile. I assume that's a hit.
Yes. You launch shrapnel from the partially destroyed desk at the closest priest descendant, striking him. Finavir, the priest descendant that has been attacking you, finally just runs up and he manages to grab you. He does attempt to punch you a few times, but you're too busy dodging and weaving. You've become more nimble. You remember some of your rogue-like roots. But besides that, the bishop, frustrated at this infiltration of his private sanctums, he stabs thrice at Selrak, the first time missing, but the second 2 times, he stabs true, deep into Selrak's flesh, and you see as Selrak rescinds back into Charles with a screech of pain and anger. And Charles, you're standing there now, looking directly at the bishop. Meanwhile, the priest descendant next to you attacks Valen, managing to land 1 hit, though it seems Valen is unaffected by the electric current in the whip. As he finishes stabbing you,
I don't know who you are, and I don't really care. But what I do know is you should beg for your lives.
Charles, it is your turn.
Charles Smoot reaches into his bag and pops the cork on one of his potions, downing it. He feels slightly bolstered. Not quite as strong as he once was, but as strong as he needs to be. And then he is going to proceed to take 2 attack actions against the bishop, as this is a clash of titans. And honestly, just having the bishop's focus at him is probably the most useful thing, directing the aggro away from the party. 33 does hit. We will hit him with 27 damage plus a d6 of bleed. And that will be Charles's turn.
Okay. Next up, Valen. Valen uses this opportunity to pull a potion from his pack. He drinks it and recovers, it looks like a little bit, and you see as some of his wounds begin to heal almost instantaneously. He steps forward, taking his isothane with him, and he slashes at the priest descendant that is close to Charles. He does seem to strike, his thame dancing around, slicing skin along the way. It is now Kelsey's turn. She moves back carefully after casting a healing spell on Charles Smoot. You see that she seems to be barely keeping it together, wincing a little bit, and even holding her hand up to the side of her head. With that, Finavir, it is your turn.
All right, so Finavir will use his acrobatics to try to escape. 28.
You pull away.
If it was good once, it'll probably be good again. 4th ranked Soothe.
I'm feeling those healing beats.
Yeah, plus 46, bud.
Let's tango.
Mr. Smoot, you're an inspiration to us all.
When we get out of this, dinner's on me.
Is that a critical hit or a critical miss? Heard a big noise. I think I'm seeing red text, which I think is good. But that's a lot of these D4s. So maybe it was. That's a lot of maybe it wasn't good. And why are there so many D4s on my screen?
Listen, he is maybe not as strong as a certain knight, but he is still one of the big bads.
No, he's not. This guy's chump change. Also, I have a team of people pumping healing into me.
Finavir, the priest descendant that you've been dealing with begins to barrage you with several punches into the gut. You take 17 damage in total.
Oh.
The priest descendant that is next to you, Charles, actually attacks at Valen, also striking at him. He does manage to hit him once, but it seems that Valen is more annoyed than anything by these meager punches. But Charles, the Order Bishop that is standing before you, you see as his mask kind of cracks a little bit and then falls from his face. You see the man behind the mask is the same as the one in the picture. There's a little bit of blood dripping from his lip as he looks at you.
You are stronger than I thought. Perhaps a truce would be in order.
And then he does one other thing, and he looks at Valen.
Young lordling, such a pleasure to see you again.
Charles Smoot, it is your turn.
I can't do anything that requires the concentrate trait, which would be a diplomacy check.
Oh, well, then it's, you're raging. You're angry.
So Finavir can do it when it's his turn, but me, I'm gonna do damage while I'm here. I'm gonna make your offer sound more enticing.
As you swing at the Order Bishop, the priest descendant finally gets to use his reaction. No! Bishop! My life for the Order! And he jumps in front of your blade.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. 29 damage plus a d6 bleed.
It was a pleasure serving you, Bishop.
You have 2 more attacks.
Pesky.
Charles Smoot runs over to the individual who was restraining Finavir and just decapitates the man. And as he does, he glares back at the bishop and saunters over to face him.
Valen runs up to the bishop, drawing his blade, and he attacks the bishop.
You come to my kingdom.
We came to your room.
You came to my kingdom.
Took everything from me.
So you see as Valen's blade dancing around the bishop, slashing at his clothes. The bishop looks terrified, his eyes wide for a moment, as all of a sudden you see Valen's blade pierce into him.
Und thus, it is complete.
And you see as the bishop falls over to the ground, his body drops dead. There is no mercy for traitors.
All right, as there are no more enemies to be perceived, Charles Smoot, his rage will peter out.
I mean, I don't know if he's a traitor.
You know what? Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
He's
It
an
was a
enemy.
good line. It was good. And you know it was.
You know, I'm normally the king of one-liners, but I will admit, it's pretty good.
It wasn't great, I know.
It was
Beside
like
the point.
a
He
B
kind of-
plus. A B plus.
He kicks at the corpse for a moment. Well, at least that's over.
Can I make a medicine check on this guy?
Sure.
I know he's a trickster. I don't like him.
Okay.
I just want to make sure he's doubly dead. 29 total for Charles Smoot's medicine.
This body looks dead.
Mm-hmm.
What?
All of the other enemies are blood splatters on my screen. This guy still has a token.
We're
I'm
going to
so-
want that token.
I am sussy.
You're always sussy. Here, does this make you feel better?
Yes, thank you.
You see, the difference is Smoot didn't kill this one.
The room is now clear of any more enemies, but it seems that you still have not found the ledger that you were looking for. You don't know if anyone else is coming. You could take a moment to look.
All right, guys, you split up for clues. We're gonna probably also want to hide these bodies.
You see as Valen goes over to Kelsey, and she seems to be sitting on the chassis.
Smith will also rush over to Kelsey as he sees that she's kind of faint.
She doesn't look faint, but you see that she's sort of rubbing her ears a little bit.
And is everything all right?
She doesn't respond to you, as if she can't hear you.
I don't like these symptoms and side effects. Valen, you've been, unfortunately, spending more time with her.
What's that supposed to mean?
Have you noticed her in this condition before?
No. She doesn't really usually do this much activity during a fight.
Might be pushing her too hard.
He gets down on his knees and looks at her. Kelsey, are you okay? She looks up. Huh? What?
Are you okay?
She looks very concerned at this point. No!
Aha!
My ears are so... I can't hear anything.
Have you tried taking the earplugs out?
She doesn't have them in. She already took them out.
That's not good. We'll have to get her to a doctor or someone who can treat her. She just needs rest. I don't know.
Right. Well, I don't think we have a lot of time to stick around here, so let's get this book and get out of here.
What did you find in the back kinky dungeon?
There was a box back there, a mirror, clothes, lots of clothes. Very oversized.
Anywhere where we can maybe, I'll try hiding the bodies in there?
I guess. Yeah, we can hide the bodies in there. Finn, look around for that dang book.
You're the only one who knows what it looks like, bud.
Sure. Instead of looting the bishop, he will pick up the cracked mask and pocket that.
Okay.
Finn's going to go more violently check the drawers.
You make no progress in finding this secret compartment that you're looking for. After all, you just had a battle and you feel a little bit overwhelmed by all of the spells that you've been casting. You feel a little sick, if anything. And after a moment, you see as Kelsey gets up and comes over to you.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I swear there's something odd about these drawers, but I can't put my finger on it.
Okay.
She'll take a look around with you. And apparently you guys are really struggling to find anything.
What are you guys looking at? It's right there.
Yep. What?
Right there.
Right there.
It's on the leg.
Valen, you are the best of us.
Right.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, you can hear again. That's great.
What the hell was that? I don't freaking know. Don't ask me questions.
So, you find this compartment. And it's strange in its appearance, but as you press a few areas, it opens up and you find what appears to be a small book of sorts. But it seems that as you have been in here for an extended period of time, the fight didn't take very long to happen, but you can kind of hear the sound of a disturbance coming from the cathedral area. Voices of a crowd murmuring almost, maybe wondering where the bishop is.
Guys, I think that's our cue to go. I don't particularly like the idea of leaving the way we came.
Well, we definitely left a lot of evidence that we're here, so we need to go out somehow.
Well,
Right.
There's exactly one door and one window in this room.
Well, there's a big window that we'd fit through, and there are two other windows technically, but they're really high, so...
How far off the ground is that big window?
The central window appears to be 10 feet off the ground from the base floor. However, it seems that the platform, which is 5 feet higher, gets you a good boost and makes it only 5 feet off the ground.
I hope you're feeling spry after that warm-up routine, ladies and gentlemen, because I think this is our exit strategy.
I really hope that was the book we needed.
Well, could you spend all of 30 seconds to look at dates?
Me?
Whoever has the book!
30 seconds is a lot, but we won't get a second shot at this. Finn will take a quick peek at the book.
It appears that this book has some information in it that you can't decipher quite readily. However, you have a good feeling that this may be what you were looking for, or at least a part of it.
It's coded. If it was protected like this, you would think. We'll have to figure this out later.
It's better than nothing. And, at the very least, we got to take out the Order Bishop.
We're going to go through all this tribal. Finn will kind of like nod at Smoot and nod at the chest on the table.
Grab it! Hurry up!
He'll grab it and toss it at Smoot, who can carry more things. Time to go, everybody!
You guys climb up, trying to get to the window. Charles Smoot boosts pretty much everyone to get up there and opens the window. It seems to open outward. And you see that there are bushes below that you're able to get down on. All of you can roll in acrobatics to make sure you land safely.
Oh yeah, there's a world...
Yeah, Charles Smoot critically fails for a total of 13 on his acrobatics, breaking both them legs.
One of the potions that you just picked up breaks.
Oh, that's not a good sound. I mean, at least... Oh, I thought it was my hip for a second.
I
Don't
did
worry.
too. Are you okay?
It's just a potion, guys. I'm sure it wasn't anything relevant.
You guys begin attempting to make your way out from the Temple of the Sacred Order. It seems that the commotion inside has drawn everyone into the building. Strangely enough, your distraction, unintended though it was, worked, and you make your way out from the Temple of the Sacred Order back into the East District. And I think that is where we're going to end this week's episode of The Gate Chronicles. Thank you, Foundlings, for listening to this week's episode of The Gate Chronicles. We're so glad you joined us. It was a very long session, but hey, we got through it. And you know what? We do want to give a big thank you and shout out to our patrons, Stephen Howland and Jason Lillis, for supporting our podcast. If you want to support the podcast, there are many ways to do so. Through our Patreon, hanging out with us on Discord, telling a friend about us. Those are some of the many ways you can do so. Some of those links are in the description below as well. You also want to consider supporting the music and ambiance creators that we use in our show to ensure that it is entertaining for your ear holes. Michael Gelfi of Michael Gelfi Studios, Monument Studios, and the various artists from Epidemic Sounds, Artlist, and Found Fantasy Soundscapes, but we're not going to talk about that one too much. Anyway, again, thank you so much, Foundlings, for joining us, and we hope you'll join us next week on another episode of The Gate Chronicles. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys!
Bye!